of the Fortunate GD6 roof liner to install the roof rack. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this driver side pillar. We're going to remove the handles. We're going to remove these handles. The sun visors must come off, and then we're going to show you how to remove the center console, and we move through to the passenger side as well. We're going to be moving the door seal trims like this. We'll be pulling that out, and then we're going to be moving on to the center pillars and then all the way to the back. So we can get started. Okay, so removing the plastic covers on here. We've got a M10 10mm bolt. We just remove these. So the front handles work with the bolts type, and then we're going to show you on these ones there's a special clip on top that's used. The thing is now to remove the trim. You don't have to remove the trim all the way to the floor, just the top pieces. Bring it down and then just tuck it into the footwell here, just like that. And then what we're going to be doing is start to remove the pillar. So you'll start from where you got the gap now. Okay, so what you're going to do is you want to pull the A pillar directly backwards towards you. Just keep on pulling slowly like that. You'll start seeing the airbags, but it's fine. Just keep pulling on the pillar and then it'll come out. The airbag is secured, so you just leave it as is and then it'll be fine. Okay, so removing of the sun visors, you've got a plastic clip over here. So using the trim removal tools is going to be the best way to go when removing these liners. So you just want to pull it and clip it and then bring it down, and then basically it pulls over itself like that, and then it exposes the star screwdriver Phillips head. Basically what you're going to be doing is unscrewing that and removing these clips as well. Okay, so then the clip retainer for your sun visor, you're going to turn it anti-clockwise to pop it out, and when you push it back in, you're going to turn it clockwise again to insert it. So anti-clockwise, about a quarter turn, pull it out. So to remove the center console on the top, what you're going to have to do is you're going to definitely need one of these trim removal tools, and you're going to want to start placing it in like this. So there's two tabs and you want to pull directly down on the system. You can get your hands in underneath, just apply slowly. They are quite tough. There we go, one pops. Just apply even moderate pressure, and that's how she comes off. And then start running down the side, and she comes. There we go. So keep pulling out. I keep putting the light on. Okay, so what happens is you're gonna get now, so you can see here you've got the 4 clips that hold it in. You're going to have the loom that runs the lights and the aux, so you just unplug that, keep the loom to one side, and you've got your center console out. So basically there's your 4 tabs. You're going to go push them straight back in vertical like that. Okay, so what we've done is we've done this piece now. Now we're going to move around to the center pillar and then start moving back. Okay, so removing now the back grab handles is exactly the same as the side front, and then also towards the back is the same. So like as usual, apply the pressure, you push the system in, start pulling the clip towards yourself. And then what I find is if you take now a thin screwdriver and you push it into the sides, there's 2 clasps, and once you push them in, then it releases there. What you want to do is get 2 screwdrivers in there, and you want to pop that retainer. So as you do that, if you pull on, you see then it pulls the system out, and then you want to do it to this side as well. Lift it up, get the screwdriver in, and then pull towards, and then the whole thing pops out like that. This one's still clipped in again. Just like that, and she pops out. So what you want to do is just pull that retaining clip. So basically it's a spring loaded and you've got the latches there. So what I want to do is let's just push it back into the system. What you'll do is to insert this thing again is quick and easy. So you want to pull it through so it sits like that, and then basically they just push back in, and then the plastic clip sets them out so that they don't pull out again, and that's how it locks into place. What happens is there's 2 tabs at the bottom here. You want to actually start pulling the trim towards you by pushing, squeezing. All we can do is take the little trim and you just work it in until they pop loose. And what happens is then this is your pull type. You want to just keep on working it, and it comes over this thing like that. Pull it down, and then it's fully removed. Now we can get to that M14. Once you unbolt this, then the whole trim can be removed, the center pillar. So we don't need the safety belt. So when removing these and tightening them again, you'll feel that there's a bit of pressure, and then it comes, once it cracks, it's quite loose, and when you tighten them again, you'll feel that it can only go to a certain position. So when you snag them up again, you will feel in the tool how tight it must be. They can't really go tighter than tight. There's a stop on them. So basically remove the whole thing. There will be a bit of pull down force from the safety belt. All you do is just keep it there. There we go. Okay, so she pops loose there. So just pull directly back, and you'll notice there is a bit of a lip here. So what we're gonna do is let me just remove these ones. So all you do is just pull from the sides here, pull from the sides, and then fully remove. Just keep on pulling directly back, and you won't do any damage to the clips. And then pull on these ones. There we go. Now she comes out. Just lift the liner slightly to remove there, and then she comes fully out. Okay. In fact, let me just remove this. I'm just removing the bolt again, just to give a bit of leeway for that sliding liner. So that's basically, we're gonna just keep it like that. Okay, so now we're gonna start. Once we've done all of this, we're gonna start now moving to the back and start removing the back pillars. One thing you're gonna want to pull just towards yourself. And they say what happens is you just push them in this way. This one's being a bit more difficult, so just take the trim removal tool and push it towards each other like that, and you see there's just two clips, and then so you just basically squeeze motion and then pull them out. The trim, you're basically just pulling it off straight like that, pulling them out, pushing them, and then removing the rear safety belt. Okay, so I have removed that one already. So basically M14mm spanner, we have a socket. There you go, she comes loose, and what you can do is just be pulling it, getting it out, and then bringing them all the way down like that. Just keep the bolts. So there's one silver, you can see the two, you won't get them mixed up. The silver long one for the front, the black one for the back. Okay, so you need to take a 10mm socket, and you're in this black thing there. Just remove it. They also come off. Just remember, when tightening these, they don't need to be over tightened. All we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing the back trim. I'm just going to go to the passenger side door again, and then this trim is removed. I've actually already removed it. So what we're going to do is you can start from here, from this corner, just pulling it and then pulling it down, pulling it all towards you. Just keep working, keep pulling, and then she'll just keep pulling like that. We don't need to remove this whole one, just remove the panel like that. Okay, now we have to come back and remove this trim. So when this is removed, now we can remove the pillars. So the one thing you have to be careful where you want to actually get a cloth now, Toyota has put a sealing grease in this rubber trim. So when removing it, just be careful when climbing in and out. If you touch it and you get grease on your hands and then get grease on the liner, and that's not going to be very nice. So let's just remove this. So what you want to do is just pull it all the way down and let it hang past the vehicle onto the ground, just like that. So like we've removed this panel already, what we can do is now get our hands in here and just pull it around. You can see I'm already getting my hands full of grease here. So just keep on pulling it around, and then you see it pops like that. That's all you want to do. Just keep it like that. That's it. That's all you need to do. So we can remove you can see that the top pillar actually tucks in quite deep behind it, and just pull directly down. There we go. And that's all we need to do. So we just want to pull it back like that, so we can remove the liner. Okay. What we need to do as well is this rubber trim on the door seal is removed, so you can get your hand around. Just keep pulling directly back on this one, and she will also pop off like that, just like that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let's just remove this one fully. So you'll see this black one clips into the grey one. So what we do is remove the grey one completely, and that's it there. Remove, you can see the line is already starting to drop. The entire driver's side is already coming down. Okay, so with this lighter, what you want to do is pop it out like that. Okay, so you've got this tab here, guys, and then what you want to do is just pull that tab down away from you, and then what happens is as that tab starts coming forward, it starts releasing that front light, and then what happens is you can have another tab this side. Get it through there. Got a tab that you push in, and then once you get your screwdriver in, just keep pushing back on this tab and she'll pull loose. And then what happens is you're going to have the light as well. So what we're going to do is just keep it loose like that, just so we got enough to remove the liner. We don't have to remove the whole thing fully. It's just to give it that bit of extra play. Okay, so to remove the center one, what you do is your light is in position like this, your light cover. You'll have little tabs, thin screwdriver will just pop them out. They hook into this position. Then I don't know if you can come with the camera, can you see? So inside here there'll be two tabs that you can take with a finger like this and just push them towards each other, and it pops right out, and then pull it back towards the vehicle. And what happens is you're going to have, you see, you'll have these tabs there. See what happens when I pull it in. So you pull those two tabs towards each other, then pull the system towards the back of the vehicle. On some GD6s, these are removable and some are not, like in this one, in this case, they are not. So basically what we do is we're just going to leave it, and these units are not very heavy, so we're just going to let it hang slightly like that. And what we do is we'll move to the further. It just gives you enough room to drop that liner, so that obviously, because the whole liner needs to come down equally to prevent creasing. Remember how to remove the safety belt trim. There we go. Okay, so what we do is just going to want to start pulling as same as all of them. They just clip into position. So just work your finger around. This one is quite tight. Just keep working it. So once you've clipped this side off where the belt comes out, pull it down, and then you want to work it towards the passenger side. And we just keep it on the belt. We don't have to remove this belt because we just need to pull it so the liner comes loose. Removed, so the liner must just clip past this thing slightly. You'll see there she starts coming down. There we go. Now she starts dropping fully. So we just keep on going. Just want to show you guys on that side. So basically it's just these this is all your looms and stuff for your center consoles. It's just a plastic clip, it holds them in. They are taped to the inside of the liner, so you want to remove it, then you can drop the whole liner. The airbag and everything stays in place. You don't have to remove that. Once you remove the liner, you'll see the whole full length of the airbag, and we just work around it. You don't have to touch it. These plastic clips are the ones that's notorious for breaking, so you're going to need this trim removal tool. You can have one here, one in there on this passenger side, and then all the way to the back here. I think you've got another 4 to go, so we'll show you that later. So what happens is you would apply a little bit of pressure. You got the fork over the tool like this, work it through. Take your time on these ones because they do have the tendency to give way. And there we go. See, I just changed now position, as you can see in that example. Just keep applying, keep pulling, and there we go. So you want to do this slowly and just take your time. So what happens is you've got a bunch of tabs. So you can see these are actually one ways, and only supposed to be used once. But what happens is if you take your time, you see it's still 100%. So when pushing it back, it'll still give more than enough clipping power to hold the liner up. A little bit of force to get the last clip out of there. She will pop right out. There we go. Cool. Now that's out. What we want now is to remove the last clip as well, which is here. Make sure you get it fully around. Apply a bit of pressure. So once the liner is fully removed, it's 100% fine. It goes and lies on the headrests of the vehicle seats. Okay, so coming in, you're going to see here's your rear 2 bolts that mount the rails, and up in front there we're going to get another bolt that will form later, and then up in front, or all the way to the front of the vehicle, got another 2. So it's 5 bolts per side. And so the spanner is a lot easier to use, especially up on the front. The liner doesn't drop as much as it does in the rear. So what we do is work it like that, and then basically loosen them up. Get it. That's it. It starts coming. So once you've done that, so you don't need to remove the plastic trim. So just show you on the outside here. So these rails have the plastic trim. You don't need to remove that to hold the bolt from the inside. The bolt is actually molded into the trim. So that you just have to leave. It's just the nuts from the bottom side. So once you've got it completely loose and the vinyl's showing, so there we go. So what you do is now you can actually remove it with the hand. See, now that one's tightening up. So there's a bit of tension on the rail as it starts lifting from the vehicle. If you grab the rail and push it down with your hand. So my other hand is on top on the rail. You see how I can actually move it. So what you want to do is just remove the nuts fully. Okay, so now your center bolt. We've already moved the 2 bolts in the rear there. So now you'll see here where my finger is. On the driver and the passenger side, you've got the same nuts just above the airbag. You leave the airbag in position, use a 10mm spanner and crack them, and then you can unscrew it just like that. That's it. So once you crack them like that, push on down on the rail, and then you can actually turn it loose by hand. At the front driver's side, you'll see here's one nut as well. You've got the location dial, and then you've got another nut. So basically putting the spanner in and turning it. Okay, so now what happens is, now once the rail's loose, this one's already popped loose, but sometimes they sit a bit, just give it a bit of a twist, and she pulls completely out. Go again, let's just go to the rear, pull the rear, and and then she completely lifts loose. So there you can see now the 5 bolts running all the way through. Once we got the rails removed, you can see we've done the cleaning part. So what I'm going to do is the final prep will be just the alcohol base. I'm just using methylated spirits. We're going to clean around where we're going to put the silicone. So here's the front 2 holes. This is the driver's side. If you move along, you've got the center hole. You move to the back, you've got the last 2 back holes. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the factory holes, but then what we do is we're just going to be putting a bead of silicone over the center hole. That's just the locating pin for the old rack, for the original rails. So you're going to get this in your kit. You're going to get a back piece. You can see they are slanted. You're going to get a center bracket, and then this is your front bracket. As you can see, that slopes towards the front. You're going to see it bend. You go long side, a short side. Short side goes towards the vehicle, and the tab goes towards the inside of the vehicle and not the outside. So running this tab will be incorrect. You want to run the tab to the inside of the vehicle, and what we're going to do, you're going to get the 4 spaces. So each mounting hole will have spaces that accumulate to 4, and then what happens, you'll place that down, and then your mounting foot will be placed on top of that. So what we're going to do is now clean it now and just apply the silicone. You want to use a silicone base sealer so that when it sets, it's still pliable, so it doesn't dry, it get hard and crack and then begin to leak. So what you want to do is you want to put a moderate amount around the hole, like such, so that when you go and push your first spacer down, let me just run this one down, like that. And then also what we're going to be doing is just running around there, because we're going to seal that up like that. So what we do is now, once you place your tab down, you're going to want to work it in just like that, so that it seals perfectly around. I'm going to do the same with this side. Just like that. So what we're going to do is, just to keep the tabs on top of each other, what I do is just run another thing of silicone just like that, so we can place the other tabs. So you're going to stack 4 of them on top of each other, and what I want to do is, then this is the hole that we've sealed, the center hole. Just run the bead of silicone there and work it around. You're not going to see this piece, so what we do is we just lay it nice and thick just like that, and then it will set, and that'll be to seal up that factory hole. Okay, so what I like to do is now, before I put the other 2 spaces on, let's just push a bead of silicone in there, so that will seal up the bolt placements. Then bring your 2 bolts, just line them up, bring them through, so they go right through the roof just like that. The bolts through, you just work it down. You don't want to torque it all the way down, because we're going to still do alignment. So let me just quickly run it through this way, just like this, so just like it, so it snugs up. Then what you want to do is just align your spaces again. Get them roughly where they should be, all squared up like that, and just in front like that, then we're good to go. Okay, so same as for the front, we're going to do the middle. You've got a long tab, short tab. Short side goes to the vehicle, but facing towards the vehicle, the same orientation as the front foot. So I've already cleaned it now, so we're going to go and add silicone and then repeat the process. Process is exactly the same throughout all the mounting feet. Okay, so what we want to do is, before these brackets have been fully fastened down, we want to put basically the backbone on. And you can see, so it's 2 bolts, and then 1 in the center, and then 2 at the rear. So you'll notice that the GD6, the actual rails taper towards the rear. So what we want to do is we want to get these as straight as possible. So these you can use as slotting positions. What we want to do is get it to where it's in the middle of the slot, and then what we do is on the back ones is we want to bring the rear as far in as possible. So you want to push the whole thing towards yourself, so that the further slot, so that we can have them almost in a direct line. Because the actual thing tapers this way, the actual gutter, we want to get it that the backbone runs straight through the vehicle. And once we've got it now in, we want to push the backbone as far back as you can go. So before you put in all your mounting hardware, so let's just put this one in. So you want to push this one until it obviously comes in, just like that. Just like that. Okay. Okay, so now once you've got it in this position, just want to check here. So you want to get this one in a medium position, just like that. So let's do it like that. And then we can go ahead, we can tighten this down now. So what we can do is we can go and snug these, and then we snug these up, and then we repeat the process on the other side. Once you've got the backbone in position, you want to drive it as far back as possible and then snug everything up. So now everything now is in place. So now we're going to move to the other side, and once that side is installed exactly the same way, then the actual platform goes and gets put down on top of it. There we go. And then I just come this way. Okay. We're looking good. Okay guys, so the liner, everything is back in. So now you can see the platform is on. We have tied the platform down. It is now solid. There you can get an overview of the entire rack. So following the step-by-step instructions, once you get to the point of putting the backbones on, is just basically placing the rack down and centering it and measuring it from left to right, front to back to get it aligned. And then obviously installing the wind deflector that you get with the kit. You've got the universal adjustable points inside that you would use to tie down, and that's basically it. And then coming around the back, you also want to, before you bolt everything down, make sure that your tailgate clears when it opens, your shark fin at the back, that's the aerial, and then come around so you can see that everything is working perfectly and clearing. So that's it.
Thank you, Mom.